What is up everyone, this is Accurate again with a new video on a piece of gear for your home studio setup. You have already seen the thumbnail and clicked the video, so you know that this is all about the Native Instruments Maschine Mikro MK3. Let's first unbox it and take a closer look.
I'll only slow you down,
Parker, we're going to get through.
So that's pretty much what the Maschine Mikro MK3 looks like. Now, my first impressions is that it's way smaller than I expected. This is a tiny device compared to the original MK3, and actually kind of lightweight as well. So portable, yes. Normally people say that stuff are built like tanks or they weigh a lot, and that's normally some kind of indication of the build quality. But me saying that this one doesn't weigh a lot doesn't have anything to do with the build quality. This one is really rock solid, so that's a plus. Now, some of my favorite things about the normal big Maschine MK3 controller is the two high-resolution full-color screens, as well as the built-in audio interface that comes in really handy. And on the Maschine Mikro MK3, the screen is that big and it doesn't come with a built-in audio interface. And that's totally understandable. I mean, this is a completely different kind of unit than the full-size MK3. You still have this awesome little touch slider that works pretty much as a pitch wheel, modulation wheel. You can apply effects or strum notes over it, so that's awesome. You still have easy access to your groups, your scenes and your patterns and everything that comes with the Maschine workflow. You can still change how the pads work, from pad mode to keyboard mode to chord mode to step sequencing mode. So that's pretty much the same deal that you get with the bigger size MK3. However though, there are a lot of things that you don't get with the Maschine Mikro MK3. Even though I really like the form factor of this one, and I love the fact that people will be able to get into the Maschine workflow and the entire ecosystem with Massive and Monarch and everything that comes with it, I just gotta say that the limitations that comes with just having one single knob for everything on a hardware unit like this is a bit problematic for someone like me. I am totally aware that I'm probably a closed-minded, old-school kind of person when I say that I like to be able to work on my hardware device without having to rely on the computer too much. And that's exactly what I get out of my full-size Maschine controller. So comparing this one to this one, not really a fair game here. On the older version of the Maschine Mikro, you could, even though it took a little bit of menu diving, you could access your start and end points of samples and adjust them, even though you just had one knob and moving back and forth. In this case, they actually deleted all of that functionality from the Maschine Mikro. Again, I totally see why they did that, because the whole menu system wasn't as intuitive as you might wanted it to be. But for me to be able to do what I normally do on my full-size Maschine controller, like sampling some stuff, chopping up a sample and sequencing that on top of some drums, to be able to do any of that, I will have to use my mouse and keyboard together with the Maschine Mikro. It's not that I need high resolution, nice screens on my sampler. I do have samplers without displays at all and it works just fine. And I can adapt my workflow, that's not it either. I can learn even more button presses back and forth to be able to access my start and end points of samples. That's not the case here. My problem for my normal sample-based workflow with the Maschine Mikro MK3 is that I can't do that at all without using the mouse and keyboard. Yeah, I know it's not a problem for everyone. Everyone doesn't use samples as much as I do. But for me, it's a little bit of a drawback. But none of the machines are standalone units or are supposed to work like that. The Maschine Mikro MK3 is just supposed to be connected to your computer and you're supposed to use it together with your computer. So a mouse and a keyboard, that's not the end of the world. But it's definitely the best Maschine Mikro so far, and you can actually do way more with a single knob and that little display than you might think at first. Loading up your project, your sounds, your groups or whatever, it's just a breeze on the Maschine controller, even on the Mikro MK3. And if you're a beatmaker who uses a lot of presets and expansions and sample packs and stuff like that, the Maschine Micro is just phenomenal. If we just forget about the entire thing about not being able to edit your samples from the hardware controller, this one has a lot to offer. The pads and all of the buttons around here has the exact same layout and functionality as on the full-size Maschine controller, so for me it's just muscle memory right there. You're still totally able to change your volumes, your tempos and your swing settings from the knob right here, as well as some other stuff when it comes to adding effects. If you get this one and pair it up with a small-sized MIDI keyboard, connect that to your computer and open up your Maschine software, you really do have a nice setup for beatmaking right there. Now everything I do on my full-size Maschine MK3 is of course available in the software as well. Chopping up samples, adjusting start and end points, reversing the sample, add a fade in or fade out, truncating samples, adjusting filters, all of that stuff could be easily done on the software. It's just that I'm very used to be able to do it on my hardware, which is not the case for this one. So the Maschine Micro MK3 might not be my favorite version of the Maschine controller ever, but I don't think that I'm the target group here. I think I'm on the completely wrong side of the spectrum here. I am heavily invested in the Maschine workflow. I know it as the back of my hand, and I really appreciate to be able to work with my full-size Maschine MK3 controller without even having to look at my computer screen. But none of the machines are standalone units or are supposed to work like that. So the Maschine Micro MK3 is more suited for someone who wants to get into the Maschine workflow and get access to all the great functions that are available through the software. I can't emphasize enough how good Maschine is as a software, and together with the Maschine Micro, for a new user, this is just magical. And I can really see myself using the Maschine Micro MK3 for live shows and stuff where I need to bring something portable. In that case, I would still open up the same projects that I've done on my full-size Maschine controller and just play them live from the Micro. Using the performance effects and the touch strip right here is really a cool thing for live purposes. Not to mention the pads, which are the same as on the bigger brother and just awesome for finger drumming. In a few days or so, I am releasing a beatmaking video using nothing but the Maschine Micro MK3 controller. Loading up some groups, some presets, some sounds and some samples, and just playing away and sequencing them. It works pretty much exactly the same as on the full-size Maschine controller, so that is really, really awesome. So I think I pretty much have given you guys my first impressions of the Maschine Micro MK3. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and thanks for all the support I get on the channel. I hope to see you guys in my next video, and yeah, ha det gött!
Accurate beats.